Right, so welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and I am really sorry about that. We have a safety car around Monaco, and unfortunately, my race, rather, my game crashed, and I had to rejoin. But we have not missed a lot of action since there was a safety car, and thankfully, there are no DNFs. But if you can see your table, Kairu is in P2 with Racing UPT in P3. Vicky has lost a lot of positions, is in P18, so I believe that would have been a crash for him. He's on the hard tires now. And Zyron Knight in P12 has... Right, so there you see, Zyron Knight in P12 has gained 6 positions at the start. And safety car, let's see if it comes in at the end of this lap. Let me know if you're watching, can you hear me on the stream, because we have just restarted the stream now, and I hope. Okay, let me just open the minimap as well. The safety car is in this lap. Right, so we'll follow Slimicam on board with him, as Racing News has already, he has gone, and let's see if there's anything into turn 1. Slimicam looks for a move but can't, as Robin behind him does get a penalty. And let's switch to tires for now and see if there is anything going beyond the top 10. More or less people have kept their positions. So Lexa in P15, so Lexa has lost a lot of positions as well, so has Cycle. So the safety guys, as we see a Renault, that's a good move from Henson, as he was opportunistic there, I must say, but I think that is a good move, as we see a wonderful helicopter shot there, as the Renault is now in P15 for Hansen. Right, up front, Slimicam is just behind Racing UPT, who seems to be struggling in the Ferrari. So Slimicam doesn't get a good run out of the chicane, and I think it's a waiting game, isn't it, around Monaco. So we've had to discuss the overtaking opportunities, and one of the first ones around the lap obviously comes into turn 1. If you get a really good run, as Racing UPT hits the barrier around the exit of turn 1, and this has given Slimicam a really good opportunity up to go Rivage, and he goes wide again, does Racing UPT. So that is Slimicam into the podium positions, as he takes advantage of the driver in front, as Jude Santi has got him as well. And I think there was wing flying for Racing UPT. Was it a Ferrari front wing? It is. So if you look closely, I think he's missing an end plate. So that would really hamper his race around the strip circuit, as behind I see a lot of movement in terms of positions there, as Rensiak seems to have ghosted. He has ghosted, and while he's still around, but he has ghosted, as this gives Santi a real good opportunity again, as Racing UPT loses positions again, and that has brought out a VSC. So Racing UPT should be into the pits maybe now. Let's see. Yeah, he does, and I think that's more than a couple of people into the pits now because of that virtual safety car. Right, so please let me know if you are able to hear my audio in the comment section. But that's a virtual safety car, as we are on lap 6 and we have hardly had 2 laps of racing, if I'm not wrong. So most of the drivers on those medium tires, but Will now, what a start from him. He is into P6 now on those hard tires, and if he's able to keep pace with the drivers up front, he should be in a good position here, as virtual safety car is not ending yet. It has ended now. So Jude Santi will be chasing down Slimmy Cam for that final podium position, and behind it's Villeneuve who's being chased by the Mercedes, who cuts the chicane. So that should have been a warning from the game, as he hits the barrier again. So clearly struggling with the aerodynamics of the car is JJT in that Mercedes, as look at the approaching speed of cars into Rascas. So that should be interesting. It could be an overtaking opportunity as well, as is the Novel chicane, as Cycle is next up pits. So does he have damage? Let's follow his pit stop, and yeah, he does have damage. So this is why he has pitted, and up front Slimmy Cam has got a penalty of 3 seconds, I believe. Right. So as we follow Villeneuve, who is just behind Lewis for now, and on those hard tires. So right now the softs do have an advantage, but as the race progresses, the hard tires will be an advantage for now, as he's really putting the pressure, isn't he, the Ferrari driver, on the Renault. And let's see if Lewis is able to withstand this pressure, as I think Villeneuve will keep coming at him lap after lap after lap, as Cairo has pitted. So that is a really early pit stop for Cairo. And is it a pit stop change for him? It seems to be. We are not in this camera angle, we are not able to see, but it seems like a wing change for him. Yeah, I think it was. That releases Jude Santi into P3 now, so he has that podium position now. And I think what's troubling him right now is, look at the gap between P1 and P2. It's more than 12 seconds, and it's increasing every second, as we see a Renault drive, or rather a Mercedes driver of JGT completely missing his braking point there and losing a lot of his front wing as a result. And let's see how Villeneuve responds to being overtaken in that hairpin, and does JJT pit? That's the main question here after that damage to his front wing. So the gap up front growing as we speak, and I think if this stays on, I think Racing News, before we have the first round of pit stops, as the Mercedes does pull into the pits, so that releases Righty Boy in P6. He's behind Villeneuve now in P5, and let's see if any of them go for a move. They don't for now. As I was saying, if Racing News continues his pace over here, he could have a pit stops advantage over Slimmy Cam. So he could be looking at a 2-stop over here, and that would be, while it is powerful for sure because of the tire compounds you would use around this circuit, it also means that you might have to overtake a few cars. As JT has joined back in P17 on the hard tires because of that front wing change, as Cairo has joined back in relatively free air in P11, and I believe it will be a stretch to take those tires to the end, as the Red Bull is round. I think that was Blackful. Yes, it was. It is Blackful who's round. Let's see if he has. Yeah, he has got the car back on the track. But that was, as this is an interesting battle, as round the outside goes Cycle. Can he make it stick? He does. What an overtake through Raskas. And let me know if you've ever seen an overtake round the outside of Raskas. You've seen plenty of them through the inside, but that is a safety car. I'm not sure why, probably because Jensen has retired. So we have 10 laps and we have had 2 safety cars and 1 virtual safety car. Let's see who pits now. It is a Mercedes driver, as Racing Use is now 20 seconds, or rather 19 seconds ahead of Slimmy Cam, so he can pit right now and come out ahead. So he should be pitting, I believe, to take advantage of this free pit stop he has been bestowed upon, as he pulls into the pits as expected. Should be coming out in P1. And let's follow Jude Santi and Slimmy Cam and see if either of them pit as well, as right now they are trying to catch up to the driver as the game now, as both of them do pull into the pits. So that is probably a smart move, as Lees is the next driver on the track. And does he pull into the pits? He does. Will now should be going through, I believe. Yeah, he does, as the cycle on the medium. So the medium runners are not really pulling in, are they? So the medium runners are staying out, as Black Wolf stays out as well. And look at who's in P2. It's Will now on those hard tires in P2. Racing Use maintains his lead because of the gap he had out front. But it's Racing Use who is in P1, and Will now on those hard tires is in P2. So this should be really interesting, as Adam Baker, who has not pitted, or rather he has pitted once probably, is in P3. Cycle is in P4. Red Ziak is in P5. He has not pitted so far. Kedu, who had 1 pit stop, is in P6. Jude Santi, the championship leader, in P7. Black Wolf in P8, and Slimmy Cam in P9, with Robin in P10 on those hard tires. So let's have a look at the pit stops done so far. We have Vicky with 3 pit stops, so that's the highest so far. And we have 2 drivers in Red Ziak and Will now who have not stopped as of yet. Everyone else has at least 1 stop, and I can see with Lexa, Racing UPT, who are a couple of 2 stoppers so far. Right, so it's a safety car again, as you can see, and the drivers will follow the car around this really technical circuit under the night sky, and one can only wonder how many safety cars are still yet to be deployed in this race. But the drivers have kept it clean so far, it seems like. We have seen a couple of ambitious moves where the damage has been to the driver mostly, who did commit that mistake. But apart from that, it has been a clean race so far. We missed lap 1 because of the network issues and my game crashing, so apologies for that once again. But apart from that, it has been okay so far. So Henson in that Renault must be disappointed, and it is a real chance for people like Will now, or people like Red Ziak, to go long into this race and then probably pit for a set of soft tires and go to the end. Right, so as we wait, and we will get to know in a moment if the safety car is coming in this lap or not, but let's see. So Cycle, who is in P4 right now, is the nearest competitor for Jude Santi for those championship points. The Cycle won in Austria, and Jude Santi is actually, if he wins this one, it seems a little difficult right now from P7 with drivers with fresher tires, or rather better track positions in front of him, and Racing Use showing absolutely electric speed, as the safety car is in this lap. So if Jude Santi, just to finish that thought, if he wins this, it will be a hat-trick of wins. But Racing Use has gone, so has the drivers behind him, as a Cycle it was who has lost it at the exit of the final corner, as he will be overtaken by quite a few cars now, as behind Lexa is he pitting? Has he got a drive through? I believe he has. Right. So that brings, so just as we were talking about Cycle being able to challenge Jude Santi for this championship, he has made a mistake just at the exit of that final corner, and what has that done is it has brought Jude Santi into P6 and looking good for the rest of the race now, as the gap up front, while it has not been even, it has been hardly 2 sectors. It has not been even 2 sectors, and the gap is already 3.5 seconds. So that's the pace which Racing News is showing as up front. Let's follow the other racing point of Adam Baker, who is chasing down Will now. And Will now is on hard tires right now, so the mediums should have an advantage. And let's see if Adam can probably make a move into turn 1. He thinks about going for it. He has gone for it, and he has the position. Or has he? This should be really interesting. He has the position for now. Yeah, he does. So that's a good move without DRS into turn 1. So that's one of the overtakes, and full credit to Will now for keeping it clean through turn 1 and giving Adam enough space there. Right, as we follow Slimicam, who is behind Blackpool for now, and he would be itching to get in front as well, as his teammate Lexa is in P15. So for Alpha Tauri, it is important that they score a lot of points in this race, as Keru has overtaken, rather he has completely missed his braking point, and he's DNF'd. And there's another safety car, so that's the third safety car of the race, and I don't think we have had more than 5 or 6 laps of racing around here. So that is a DNF for the Japanese driver, and that is another safety car, and that again mixes the field up. Let's see if someone pits. So Will now finally comes into the pits, and that is important for him because he had to change his wing. But the thing is, since the field is so bunched up, he will lose a host of positions. Let's see, still waiting for the fast lane to be cleared, as we see more and more people into the pits now. This is Red Jack who pulls into the pits, as well as the top four still don't pit, and Cycle, who had a bad restart after the second safety car, is now back into P5. So the race has been topsy-turvy for most of the drivers, except our race leader in Racing News. Is led from start until lap 15. We are almost halfway through the race, and he has led every lap so far. So he would be hoping that there are lesser safety cars for now, so that he can extend his advantage and pit again if he wants to, because that's the kind of pace he's showing. The drivers behind him, Adam is yet to pit. Jude Santi might have to pit again. He's on 4 lap medium tires, but tell you what, if there are a lot of safety cars, that would help these guys in terms of tire, whereas there's a huge lockup for a guy in front. I'm not sure who that was. That was probably Jude Santi or Adam Baker, one of the two. But yeah, as I was saying, if there are more safety cars, it would help tire wear for these people, and they might be inclined to go to the end on their current set of tires, except of course Adam Baker, who's on 14 lap old mediums and has to pit again. So 2 DNFs so far. I think that was Kedu, who was trying a move on Slimicam, I believe. I'm not sure, let me know if you remember who he was trying a move on at the Novel chicane, but missed his braking point, went straight, and while trying to rejoin the track, he clipped his tire at the wall and DNF from the race. So I can see Red Jack has DNF'd as well in the pits. So I don't know why that is. So let's see, it has DNF'd and that was in the pits, so that should not cause any more trouble to the drivers, but the field seems to be bunched up now, so I believe the safety car should be coming in this lap. We'll keep an eye out at the bottom left because that's where the message will be displayed. In fact, let's ride with Jules Santi. And while the safety car has pulled away, but I don't remember seeing a message for it to come in this lap, but it's quite evident from the track map that it is coming in. So as we wait and wait and wait, I think they're still waiting and there's probably contact there. Not sure, as Jules Santi gets hit as well, and that's Slimicam. I am not sure what that happened, as Slimicam does get the position back and we are back to racing again, as there was a little bit of a confusion there. A Cycle, because of all this confusion, has taken P4. So what a turnaround for him. He had a bad restart but at the previous safety car, but because of the confusion at the next safety car restart, he gets one position and he's directly behind his championship contender right now. So this should be a fun battle to watch. As let's follow Slimicam around. He's practically up the gearbox of Cycle and who should be looking to chase Jules Santi for it. There's a yellow flag in sector 2 which has been cleared now. So it's fine for now, as again racing use, look at the gap at front. It's been 2 sectors and the gap is already 2.5 seconds. So real mega pace here from him, as that's JGT who has taken Lexi for now, and that's the position lost for him. And they are still with Righty Boy, who has overtaken Lees as well. So or he hasn't, apologies for that, so he hasn't, but he's putting the pressure on him. And let's see if he can take that position. Not yet, the DRS is still not enabled, as up front this is a battle which is really intense right now, as he gets a little bit out of shape, the Cycle, but he keeps it well. And Slimicam was just behind him, wasn't he, to take advantage of any mistakes the Cycle does. So while he's not able to catch up to Jules Santi, I think he has his eyes set on defending from the Alpha Tauri in behind. Elsewhere, Lexa in the Alpha Tauri is in P11 and he is in a Ferrari sandwich, as you can see. So that's Racing UPT in P10 and Villeneuve in P12, who are competing with the Alpha Tauri driver, as up front Slimicam still behind Lexa and all the while losing time to Jules Santi up front. Slimicam, I'm not sure if you have followed the race around Austria, as we wait for him to make that move, but he had a fantastic drive in the wet conditions and then moving to dry conditions in Austria. He started P17, I believe, the Alpha Tauri driver, and finished on the podium in P2. So what a drive that was from him, as he sees that there's a chance of another podium up front, but he still is yet to clear Cycle. Let's have a look at the penalties. I think there are a lot of penalties, and I believe some of them would be probably from the contact under safety car. Yes, there are. So in fact, all of top 4 and 5 out of top 6 drivers have penalties, and I believe most of them are from the contact under the safety car. So if they are able to get those removed, I'm not sure from the stewards, but I believe if you serve them, then you are not able to get those removed. As still following Slimicam, and Cycle's tires will definitely be struggling now, as Racing UPT in the Ferrari pits, so he will be losing a lot of positions, but he will have fresher tires for the rest of the race, and he should be going on a fresh pair of, let's have a look, on a fresh pair of mediums. So that is his race strategy or his pit strategy done. As where did I see wings flying? I think everyone's wings are intact for now, but did I see wings flying somewhere? There's a huge gap of cars here, and it seems like everyone is okay for now. I don't see any damage there as AlphaTauri of Vicky slides around a little bit. But up front, I think this is the battle, and Cycle basically being the corkscrew in a bottle, because he's on very old tires now, and drivers behind him are catching up. As we see Robin in the McLaren still catching up. Is Cycle pulling the pits? He doesn't. So 18 laps to go, and he's still not pitting. Let's see when he ultimately decides to pit, or maybe, just maybe, because he has already pitted once, is he thinking of going to the end? I'm not sure, but I believe he started on medium, so he has to put on a pair of either softs or hards. I believe it will be softs to end the race on. Behind us, this battle is still, Righty Boy is still behind Lexa, who is being chased by Will now. So this is a 5-car battle around the hairpin, and it's so tight. Look at the cars practically pushing each other around the circuit. As the hairpin, also as there another wing flies, and is this from, yeah, it is from the AlphaTauri of Slimmy Cam. So I believe he made a mistake somewhere in the tunnel, and he has lost a left end plate. So this will really impede his lap time, especially while going around the right-handed corners, as he still is behind Cycle for now. But let's see, he has ERS now. He has hardly 5% of ERS left. With the help of DRS also, he's close up a little bit, but not enough for him to make a move. As other battles behind us, one is this one which we have been following, as there's another battle brewing. That's at the flag end of the grid, as Black Wolf is almost out of ERS, and that is something which Zaran Knight might have noticed, as that was an unusual braking from Black Wolf, as he takes that hairpin. And this is a battle which Zaran Knight can believe, as he goes wide, and that's, he has, let's see if he has damage on the wing. He might have just gotten lucky there. No, he hasn't. He hasn't. The luck is not on his side, and he has end plate damage. As up front, Cycle is still going around, and I wonder when he's actually deciding to come in. There's 16 more laps after this one, and slowly but surely that's the chasing pack. So if you see from P4, as Lexa does pit finally, so from P4 there is a yellow flag in sector 3. I don't know what for, because I don't see any cars except in the pit lane there. Right, so as I was saying, from P4 to P8, or rather in fact P12. So look at this, from P4 to P12 there are a lot of cars, and if one person makes a mistake, he would lose a lot of positions around here, as almost all of them are within 1 second of each other except for Blackpool. So make it P11. So P4 to P11 really close right now, and Swimicam not able to overtake Cycle. The gap ahead of the Racing Point driver has also increased to 9.5 seconds now. Jude Santi, even with his penalties, is probably hoping to finish on the podium. Let's see where Adam, so Adam and Cycle both on really old tires for now. Let's see if one of them, or both of them, or none of them decide to pit. Vicky has pitted again. The or rather the Alfa Romeo driver, as Slimy is trying everywhere, isn't he? He's just itching to get past, and he's trying every move in the book, trying to unsettle the Racing Point driver in front of him and trying to get in front of him. He takes a lot of curve there, but nothing doing, and it's still status quo for now. The gap up front is 14 and a bit seconds. So Racing News again using his pace to pull out a gap, and is good for now. And I don't think he will pit yet. But even if he wants to, he can just push a little bit further and get that advantage, or rather that gap of a pit stop, and then pit again. So finally, that is Slimmy Cam into the pits. So that's a little surprising. The cycle goes on. So Slimmy Cam is into the pits, and that is the front wing change, which will cost him a lot of time. And that releases JJT in the Mercedes, and he probably is going to the end on this set of tires. So let's see. That's another driver behind cycle that he has defended really well so far, and he will be hoping that he continues to do so for the rest of those 14 laps, unless he pits for a fresh set of tires. He would be hoping for a safety car right now, won't he? He knows these tires are past their best, and he would be hoping that if he can get a safety car now. But look at this train. We're riding on board with Will now, and once we approach the chicane, you will see the cars in front of him. Look at this train. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, and that's a battle. And no, it's going to just get more and more intense as we approach the end of this race, because a lot of points are on offer. And as we get to the business end of the season, as Will now tries his best to hang around the outside, as finally does cycle pit. So cycle pits, and let's follow his pit stop. Does he have wing damage? Well, it seems like he does. So he has wing damage as well, probably the reason why he was not able to push on further and get that gap to Jules Santi. That gap is about 15 seconds now, and that's okay. That's a little bit of a glitch. I don't know why he's waiting for so long after probably pitting for a fresh pair of softs, and that puts him well outside the points for now. Has Slimmy Cam pit again? He has. So maybe he lost his wing somewhere on his out lap or one of the laps after this, but he has pitted again. And if there's a safety car now, Diamond Knight has DNF'd as well, so I'm not sure how that has happened. Did he retire in the pits, or did he have a crash somewhere? We'll have to watch the stream back to know. But for the final 12 laps, the gap up front for Racing News is 18.2 seconds. Adam Baker, let's see when he pits, in fact, because is he hoping to get these tires to the end? That would be 37 laps on a set of mediums, and that would be asking a lot. So, and if he's smart right now, he has just about enough gap to come out in P3. So I think it might be a good plan for him to just pit right now and get out in P3 anyway. So we'll keep an eye out on that as this battle, and that's a Ferrari. Yeah, both Ferraris are in P7 and P8. So let's see how they deal with the Haas and the Renault in the front. But for now, let's follow Adam and let's see if he pits, because he might just come out in P2. Or rather P3, as a sector 3 as a yellow flag there. I'm not sure why that was, because it didn't seem like anyone had any trouble. We were riding on board with Adam when that happened. But I think he's determined to go to the end now. There's no way. If he thinks of pitting, it should have been now. So I think he's going to the end. And elsewhere, I think Vicky in P11 and Robin are jostling for those positions as Black Wolf has pitted. So let's see what as he goes on for this. And that's a rather premature stop, I should say. His 12 laps on those hards will not really take away a lot of performance as the McLaren is behind the Renault, and yeah, I don't think there will be any chance of overtakes here. But that's a really good run as Vicky goes all out of shape, and that is a really good run, and that's a contact, and that has resulted into a spin and a crash for Robin as he loses his entire wing almost. Let's have a look from another angle. Right, so it's the damage seems to be, I think it would be a lot worse than what it looks right now. But while there is no safety car and up front the Ferraris have switched around, so Racing UPT is in front of Villeneuve now as Adam has continued on. So what a drive from him this has been, and he seems determined to go to the end on these mediums, while it is quite clear that even if he pits now, he will come out in P3 as there's a lot of smoke out of the hairpin, and that's something we have seen all laps around. So I'm not sure what kind of throttle and brake application he's using around that corner, but yeah, that's a lot of smoke than what we are used to as Black Wolf takes P12 from Greaves, who probably has to pit now because of the damage to his wing as he's into the pits. Yes, he is, as is Vicky. So both these drivers into the pits, and probably for a set of soft tires. Vicky's definitely on softs, and let's see what Robin puts in. Yes, that's a pair of softs for him as well. Right. So that's Racing UPT going really wide, and I don't know if he was trying to let through Villeneuve, but he has lost a part of his wing as well to the left hand plate. As up front the gap is, as we expected, more than 20 seconds now, so he should be clear of a pit stop is Racing Use, but I don't think he needs to pit now, and he should be good for the rest of the race as Racing UPT does come into the pits because of the damage to his wing, and that would promote few people into the pits. Let's see where he comes out as compared to Cycle. As you see, that's a Racing Point driver, and he should be coming out behind him, and in comparison to the Williams, let's follow. Well, that Williams is the lap car, so this will mean that so this means that Racing UPT has been lapped. So a points paying position for him, but he has still been lapped by Racing Use. So that's the pace which he has shown today, and Racing Use right now is clearly in a world of his own, setting those lap times and setting this track ablaze. Cycle would be the next person to battle here between Lexa and Villeneuve. Villeneuve gets a little bit out of the shape coming out of that chicane as Lexa goes wide for a better turn in, but this is a train around Monaco, and when the drivers have DRS off each other, the slipstream off each other, you really need to wait for a mistake from the driver in front before you can actually overtake. So up front, Adam still in P2, and not something as Lexa was really close there, wasn't he? And he is just itching to get past, as probably thought of a dive bomb there, but thought the better of it, and sticks in P8 for now. As in fact, Lees and Righty Boy and JGT don't really have a lot to worry. They don't have any penalties for a round, and if they are able to keep it clean, even if they're overtaken, which doesn't seem likely anyway, they should be in for a good haul of points. So what this does for the constructors, Jude Santi is in P3, so that will bring a lot of points for the constructors, as his teammate Vicky is outside of the points for now in P12, but we still have 7 laps to go and anything can happen in those 7 laps. As that's a good move, and it's probably sensible from Villeneuve to let Lexa pass, because had he tried to defend there, because it was too late before he saw him coming probably. So that's a move from Lexa into P7, and he will now be chasing after Righty Boy in P6, who is himself chasing Lees for P5, who is just behind JGT. So it's all to play here for the final few laps of this race. We have had 3 safety cars and 1 VSC, but ever since the last safety car came in, I think that was lap 16 or so, I think there have been no real incidents after that except the one between Vicky and Robin, I believe it was, in sector 1. Right. So let's follow Lexa here, who is very close to this battle in front, as Lexa goes round the outside. He tried it, but Righty Boy was aware that there could be a move from Lexa here, and he is quite sharp to keep him at bay for now. Lexa looks really confident on the brakes as well, and gets a good run out of turn 1 as the light is flashing for Righty Boy in front, and let's see if Lexa wants to go on the outside. He doesn't for now, but he certainly seems to be faster than the cars in front, and if he can overtake a couple of these guys, and that would include JJT as well, he can then probably pull out a gap to negate the time loss because of his penalty, which will be added to his race time at the end. Right, so that's a really good run from Lexa, and let's see if this time does he go for a move. He half-heartedly does and puts Righty Boy a little bit out of shape going into that corner, but I don't think that's any damage to either of them. Certainly not, yeah, there's no damage there, but this is an intense battle, and this is something which you love to see around Monaco. And well, the chances to overtake are very few, but what it always helps is putting the pressure on the driver in front and trying to get an advantage, as there goes Lexa again. So turn 1 is something he's really good at, it seems like, and he's able to take advantage of that going into the corners, as he's trying all sorts of things to get in front. And let's see if this time can he make it stick. He is down the inside of the Haas driver, and he has made it stick. There's Lexa. What a move again from the AlphaTauri driver, and he is now into P6, and he's still with 4 laps to go, as we saw lose his connection maybe for a second. He is looking good here, and what this does is it gives him confidence, as JGT in the Mercedes gets a penalty as well. That's what probably a 3-second time penalty for track limits. So Lees could actually finish in P4 here if he is able to avoid getting any time penalties around the circuit, as probably Adam is, I don't know how he is able to get his tires to this level right now and finish the race on 37 lap old medium tires. It would be a real feat if he's able to do that. And we see Robin Greaves, that's the AI of Robin Greaves, who is still racing in P13. He was 42 seconds behind Vicky, with whom he had an incident, but on the softer tires, so he shouldn't really be a factor in this battle. Right, so just behind that cycle on those fresh soft tires, he is chasing Villeneuve in the Ferrari, who is on 20 lap old mediums. So this should be a fun battle to watch as well, as Lexa is really close now, and he just about tries to get around Lees, who has gone out of shape, and this will invite Lexa, but that's a little bit tricky where he wants to go, but that's another position. So Lexa with all the moves here, as Lees loses another position because of the contact with the barrier and probably with the car of Lexa. So 2 positions lost for him, and this puts Lexa into P5, chasing after JJT in the Mercedes. And let's have a look at penalties for now. So that's the penalties. Lexa has 6 seconds of penalties. So despite his overtaking, he might be still losing a lot of positions here if he is not able to clear JGT in the Mercedes. In fact, let's ride with him as he's putting the pressure on the Mercedes again. He's cutting that chicane, so he doesn't really mind a warning or two if he is able to pass the Mercedes and then pull a gap in front, because he knows the drivers behind him also have a few penalties of their own, and that should be fun as well. As Lexa again, that exit was compromised as we are running out of laps here, and not on this occasion, but probably the next time around this lap is when they would be hoping. As Lees has lost the connection, so the cycle has lost the connection, has he, or was that a mistake in turn 1? As Villeneuve is on Lees, and that's a good switch back from him. Let's see if he can dive down the inside. He doesn't, but that's Racing UPT behind. The Ferraris are fighting as well, and Racing UPT stays behind for now, as these drivers, as Villeneuve takes a lot of curb on that right-hander. As up front, let's follow this battle for P4 for now, as Lexa is still not able to get past the Mercedes, and the next lap will probably be his last chance to pass the Mercedes and then pull out a gap, or hope that, oh, that's, I think the Mercedes has wing damage from there, and what has, I think AlphaTauri has damage as well. Yes, he has. That's the right hand side end plate missing for him, as Villeneuve has lost positions to Racing UPT and Cycle. The Cycle will finish in the points for now, as we have only 11 people in the running, as Vicky has DNF as well. So very, and if there's one more DNF now, all the race finishers will have points, as Racing UPT has gone ahead of Lees. So that's a couple of moves in the last few laps for him, and the Ferrari driver, because of his penalties, might still finish behind people as he goes really wide into that hairpin, especially at the exit. And let's follow this man then. That's Racing Use, who has 8 seconds of penalties, but it does not matter because of his gap at front. And we'll come back to him for now, as there's still 1 lap to go after this, and Lexa again will put on the pressure, as this seems to be his trademark line while following a car in front, but that exit from GGT is good enough to keep him in P4 for now. So barring any other penalties, I believe it should be Righty Boy, who is in P6 right now, who will finish P4 because of time penalties. And that's Racing Use, your race winner for Monaco. What a performance from him, winning the race by 20 seconds despite 3 safety cars. Imagine what he would have done. And this man, what a legend, what an absolute legend on those tires. That's 38 laps on those medium tires, as Jules Santi, the championship leader, another great performance from him in P3. His JT finishes is still yet to finish, so let's wait for a little bit, but he's yet to finish the race as the Ferrari and Renault are still battling. So let's see what comes out of this battle. But that's JJT in P4, and he will probably not keep that P4 as Righty Boy will finish ahead of him. It does. So Righty Boy in P4, JJT in P5. Lexa, after a couple of good overtakes, does finish P6. Lees is in P7. Cycle, who's P2 in the championship, finishing in 8th. And we'll have a couple of other drivers finishing in the points for now. So that was the race around Monaco. I hope you guys enjoyed that, as Righty Boy is the driver of the day. And let's see if we can get people for the podium interviews. Right, so that's your final classification, as Righty Boy does get a driver of the day. According to the game, he started P14 and he finished P4, so that's a really strong point, or rather points for him, as we will try to get, so bear with me as you see the screen for a little bit, people into the party and have a chat with them for the podium getters on this race. Right, so we have invited a couple of these drivers. Let's see when they join in. Right, so we have our winner for Hello Racing Use. Can you hear me? Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. Please ensure that in your party settings you have turned the audio sharing to always allow, and so that you are heard on the stream as well. But talk us through your race and that qualifying lap which put you in P1, and just a general race as well. How do you think it went? And winning by more than 20 seconds, so that would be quite a feat as well. So please talk us through that.
Yeah, it was good enough for pole. I expected the guys to do quicker lap times than they did eventually, but yeah, well then I started from pole. The strategy was always from soft to medium. A lot of safety cars, which on the one I did my stop, and it was just very clear from start to finish. Just drive to the line, stay concentrated. Yeah, I made some personal mistakes, but that's something to work on by myself. Yeah, I'm gonna ask for a 5-second removal of the penalty because I started to lead to when the safety car was gone, but someone drove into me and I got the 5-second time penalty for that. So don't really.
Right, congratulations once again, and I believe, yeah, I think everyone in the top 5 did get a 5-second or maybe more penalties because of those contacts on the safety car. So I'm sure the stewards will look into that. Please ensure you record your race directors as well as the footage so that you can send it to them as well. Moving
Yes.
on to Adam. Adam, are you here?
Hey, I'm here, man. I'm here.
All right. So first of all, congratulations for that podium. We were
Thanks.
rooting for you on the stream, but we are not sure how you got those medium tires for 37 laps, and you still did not get a puncture. So please talk us through what was going on in your mind, because we were kind of
Yeah.
expecting you to pit and solidify your podium in P3 because there was a lot of gap behind Santi, but you decided to go
Yeah.
on and get that P2. So walk us through your race as well.
Yeah, so I started off with the soft, of course, and then I expected to drive them up to 11 laps or 12 laps. But the safety car came in, and I just went for the mediums. And I was kind of expecting to do a second stop if there came a safety car again. But
Mm-hmm.
there were so many safety cars and not so much tire wear, so I could just drive on, and I could see that my delta between me and Santi was pretty good, so I just went for it and it paid off. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we were monitoring the delta and wasn't really coming down as much. But just curious,
No.
if you checked, did you check what was your tire wear at the end of the race or maybe on the
I
last lap
think
or something?
yeah, I think I checked the tire wear when it was at 40%. And then I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna look at it anymore. It's just gonna make me nervous. So
Right.
I think it ended up at around 60 or 65 or something, but it felt pretty good actually. I just drove it kind of safely.
Right. So a really
Yeah.
impressive drive from you, Adam, and congratulations once again.
Thanks,
I
man.
think it was a fantastic job keeping out of trouble and then ensuring those tires go to the end. So I hope you enjoyed that one. So coming to
Yeah, I did
Santi, our
for sure, for
championship
sure.
leader,
I
and
just have a, I just have
yes,
a,
yes.
I just want to say thank you to the boys at the factory. I want to say thank you to my partner Sikulion. Yeah, good race, good race. I couldn't have done it without him. Let's go, babe. Let's go.
Right, I think a really good bag of points for the Racing Point as well as you chase Alpha Tauri in the constructors.
Yeah, it
So
was my
speaking
first points of the season. Yeah, yeah,
right, all right, that's really good. First one of the season and the podium. So upwards is the way to go for you as well. As we come to Santi, Santi, I hope you can hear us, and I hope you have
Yeah, yeah, I hear
ensured
you.
your party settings are to always allow in terms of audio sharing. So walk us through your race, and I believe you. So we lost the stream for a little bit in the between, but I believe you jumped someone at the start and got into P2. And how was it? Because you pitted slightly earlier than others, and then had to probably fight your way through traffic and ensure that others pitted later on or made mistakes for you to gain those
Yeah.
positions. So how was it?
Yeah, so first I want to congratulate Adam and Racing for the race because that was amazing. It's impossible to stay behind them because they are too fast. And concerning my part, I have the same strategy as Adam. So I start with the soft, then I switch, I think, in the second safety car with the medium. And then I see plenty of drivers who overtake me during my pit stop. So yeah, I have to wait for the mistakes of other drivers, and then I overtake them like that. But in
Right,
Monaco, it's like
a really
impossible
strong
to.
race from you, Santi, as well. And Tell me, was there a point in the race when I believe you were P7 or P8 where you were not sure of the podium?
I was P5 when I start.
Right. Okay. So a great race from you as well. And since you have finished ahead of cycle, so that helps you in the championship standings as well. So all the best for the rest of the season, and we hope that we have a lot of good performances from you going forward. So I believe
Thank,
Lexa, who has also joined the party, and we wanted to talk to him because of the moves he made, and those are very rare overtakes around Monaco, but he can't talk right now. So that's it from the comms box this weekend, and we will see you next weekend for another race in this F4 division of European Racing Organization. So with that being said, congratulations again to the podium winners, and
Thanks,
good
man.
night and take care of yourselves. Thank you.
Yeah.